The news of Tesla buying $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin has sent the market skyrocketing. Today we're going to have a look at the good news and the potential bad news to this. So we're going to dive into the good stuff first, leave the bad stuff till the end. So make sure you stick around to understand what it is we're talking about. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. My name is Jason Pizzino. Consider hitting the subscribe button right down here and the bell notification icon so you can be updated with cryptocurrency content as it comes out. Now, YouTube has a way of shadow banning cryptocurrency content at the most critical times, so be sure you do click that all button once you've hit the bell. If you find value from the content, hit the like button down below. Let's go for 1,000 likes on the video. It really does go a long way to helping out the channel for free. All right, guys. First up, going to have a quick look at the chart. We have been tracking the Bitcoin chart on a macro scale. That's what I have here, not using the candles. Essentially, it is just a bar chart on a weekly time frame. So each of these are 1 week. We want to capture the big picture because we want to get on board the big moves. So we've seen it break out, which is a great sign. Now I want to throw on the volume indicator. Volume is really important because we want to understand how much energy is in the market pushing the market along or pushing or pulling it back down. So what we've seen is a reasonable low volume move up to break the all-time high, which was currently at 42,000. Now the current all-time high is at 47,500 as I film this video. Now we do have about 6 days left till the end of this week. We're only 1 day into the new week, but the previous week leading into the high was below average volume here. That's what we can see at the bottom. Let's have a white line, which is the average, and these previous bars are the volume for that particular week. The positive sign to last week's close is that it was the highest close in Bitcoin's history, and the closing price was at 38,800. Previous to that was 38,100. So we did get a reasonable close, although it wasn't on the volume that we were hoping for. So we are hoping to see a stronger volume rally this week, and of course hopefully get to our beloved psychological level of 50,000 US dollars. The positive to this is on the news that Tesla has actually bought Bitcoin. We see the market break through all-time highs, which is different to when Elon Musk was posting about Bitcoin, which basically pumped the market and it reversed. So there was still some momentum building at these low areas. This was the day that Elon Musk changed his bio to hashtag Bitcoin, and it pumped to around 38,500 before coming back down to 32,500. So there is a lot of strength in what Elon Musk posts about in the magnitude of the billions of dollars. So Tesla buying, we have crushed through the old all-time high, but like we can see, even on the daily, the volume isn't as high as we would like to see when we get breakouts. So we're looking back to the breakout through the $20,000 level when Elon Musk wasn't posting about it, and we have higher volume at that time. Only just, so I'm still hopeful that we're going to see 50,000 and possibly take on our next Fibonacci level, which is $57,000. So that's 161% of our major range that we're following. The other beauty about this range is that we did come back and sit on our 50%, so there's 0.5. So that's around the $30,000 level. We came back, tested that, double bottomed, moved on. So they're great positive points for Bitcoin and its potential to move through to our next level of course, 50,000 being the psychological level, and then on to $57,000 in the short term. Now let's turn our attention to the news coming through on this, and the tweet that we have recognized is Michael Saylor's tweet here. At the weekend, Michael Saylor and his company MicroStrategies have done an online conference, I should say, for CEOs, executives, all of the bigger companies, wealthy people out there, to teach them about Bitcoin and how to get into cryptocurrencies. So it's no wonder we see the news after that event, but I'm sure that Tesla were buying $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin long before the weekend. To be able to buy $1.5 billion, it's just not a transaction that happens overnight. This takes weeks, if not potentially months, just depending on the amount of volume that we've seen. So we did see the Bitcoin price tumble from the highs in early January. So this is a great time for companies to be buying into Bitcoin because the prices are lower than they were at the highs, the interest is lower, and they're able to accumulate Bitcoin without the prices going absolutely nuts, basically without influencing the price skyrocketing. We've seen the skyrocketing now after the news has been presented. Let's move on to the next piece, and that was the tweet from Michael Saylor. The article goes on to read, Tesla announced Monday it has bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. In a filing with the SEC, the company said it bought the Bitcoin for more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on our cash. So basically, they are shifting some of their cash reserves into another asset. And of course, they've chosen Bitcoin. Tesla allocates 7.7% of gross cash into Bitcoin. Recently, we heard Cathie Wood of ARK Invests speak about the top 500 S&P companies. If each of those were to deposit 10% of their cash reserves into Bitcoin, that could skyrocket the Bitcoin price to $400,000 US per Bitcoin. So far, we've seen one of the biggest companies already get in at 7.7%. So Cathie Wood of ARK Invest isn't too far off that prediction if we can see a lot of the top 500 put some of their cash deposits into Bitcoin. So this obviously represents 1.5 billion. Tesla had about 19 billion on their books. Now, a little further down, we can see that there was 19.4 billion in gross cash. Otherwise, we can look at it as 15.1% on net cash. That's how much has been invested by Tesla. So they are over the 10% when we look at it in terms of net cash, but in terms of gross cash, just under that 10% threshold. Well, the 10% that we're looking for if we are going to see the $400,000 Bitcoin that Cathie Wood from ARK Invest discusses. Lastly, from this article, we can confirm that there was 1,400 registered signups to MicroStrategy's Bitcoin buying webinar. Tesla buying Bitcoin essentially allows other companies to also buy Bitcoin, more so in the sense that people are becoming more comfortable with the fact that the largest companies in the world are okay to have Bitcoin on their books. So this article looks at Apple and should it be buying Bitcoin to turn it into a wallet, and then we can use crypto on our iPhones. Obviously, that is a huge market. There are millions and millions of people that have Apple iPhones. So if that's the case, we could basically see this thing on steroids. Steroids similar to what we've seen with Cash App and PayPal introducing cryptocurrencies to their payment gateways. Now, this is just an idea. We don't know if it's going to happen yet, but it sure does open the doors for Apple to be able to come on board and hopefully open up something in regards to the cryptocurrency apps for their products and services. Cute little dot point here is that the RBC Capital suggests that getting into crypto would be less risky than Apple's rumored electric car project. So this is on their research. They're saying that it would be much better for Apple to have a cryptocurrency wallet app on all of their devices as opposed to getting into a new industry being the electric car industry. That's a pretty big one there, and hopefully we see them go down that path rather than electric cars. So that's all the good news. Let's turn our attention back to the charts for a brief moment and discuss where Bitcoin could go from here. What are the downfalls that we could see coming from this latest boom, and potentially what's going to happen to altcoins as Bitcoin continues to rise. I've got Tesla here. Obviously, Tesla is the company that's bought 1.5 billion. Tesla is sitting near its all-time highs of nearly $900, currently at $863. Probably we would expect Tesla to open up higher. Maybe it'll drop, maybe it won't. But I think with the amount of news, the amount of hype, even seeing as Tesla, people believe is so overvalued, doesn't mean that it can't continue to go up, especially on the back of such massive international news as buying Bitcoin for their assets. Now, I have to put in here, I am not a financial advisor. None of this is by recommendations. This is just what I think will happen based on what I've seen in the past. So at no point am I saying to buy Tesla or Bitcoin or anything else, purely just what I think will happen. And we're basically speculating on this because at the end of the day, we can all be wrong as well. I don't want to blow too much hopium up everyone's butts because this is your Hopium-Free cryptocurrency channel, your home of the nopium. Now, taking a look at Bitcoin again before we touch on the altcoins. Bitcoin, we are at 46,500. The next thing I want to have a look at on a weekly time frame. Again, we're looking at macro views, not a 4-hour chart, not an hourly chart, nothing short-term time frame. We are in these for the major hauls. So I'm on a weekly chart. I'm going to look at the moving average, the 20-week moving average. Every week we continue up, we are getting further and further away from this 20-week. In bull markets in the past, we have come back and tested the 20-week to basically accumulate and regain some strength for the bull market. Now, this looks like it's changing. Maybe we're not going to touch the 20-week moving average throughout this entire bull market. But that just means we could be leading ourselves to a bit of a disaster should it come time to test that 20-week. We could be so far away from it, just like we were at the top of the 2017 bull market, that we come right back and the bull market is eventually ended at that point. I don't think we're going to see that just yet, because there are other patterns that we've seen in the past on Bitcoin. And that brings us right back to around 2011 through to 2013, as we see the market push ever so far away from the 20-week moving average for quite some time. This is the early 2013 to the mid 2013 bull market. Some people believe that we are following this trend a lot more closely than we did for the 2017 trend. So we're going to pay attention to the early part of 2013, because what we saw was a huge correction, and then the market continued on yet again. So this is the scary, extremely scary, and I'm not trying to fear anyone out of their positions by any means, but if you take a look and try to prepare for something like this, the top came in with a bottom of an 82% fall within a week. Now, we're in a very different position in Bitcoin at the moment. There is a hell of a lot more money in Bitcoin. There are a whole lot more awareness. There's a lot more people, there's companies that aren't going to move their money as quickly as what was once possible in 2013. In and out of Bitcoin, this was all retail, speculation back then. Speculation hasn't changed. There's a lot of that now. But there was a huge move away from the 20-week moving average. As you can see just here, we started moving away from it from October 2012 and did not come back and test it until June 2013. So it was a good part of 9 or so months that the market was away from the 20-week moving average until it was tested again. That is something to keep in mind, and something that we will definitely be tracking on the channel, as what we've seen through 2017 was a market that continued to test the 20-week moving average before making its all-time high. And we've looked at that many times before, so it's definitely something that people are wary of and that they are most likely waiting to see on the way up through this bull market. Because for the 2017 bull market, the test and break of the 20-week moving average saw the end of the bull market. So that could be a difference for this bull market. Maybe we only see Bitcoin run away from the 20-week moving average, come back and test it, which lasted for about 3 months, was the period that Bitcoin was from the top to the bottom before it began its next move to its final top. So there was still a huge gain to be made from that point. So if we are scared out of our position from here, maybe we see a top at 50, 60, 70,000 and then a pullback to around 30 or 40,000. I'm just pulling out numbers here. But basically, there could be another huge gain to come, maybe another 1,000%, which would line up pretty well with Cathie Wood's thoughts of a $400,000 Bitcoin. So who knows what we can see from there. The main point is it could get quite volatile, seeing as we are moving up very, very quickly without a long term to rest and consolidate. But I think there is a silver lining to that bad news. There could be a double bull market that we see within this period of the 2021 bull market. Possibly it runs into 2022 or 2023, but at some point it'll be extremely volatile. Now, taking a quick look at the altcoins, we can see that a lot of the BTC values are beginning to bleed against Bitcoin. Of course, there are some US dollar values which are also dropping, which just means their BTC value is going down extra hard and their USD pricing can't keep up. So pay attention to that. Now may not be the time, of course, not financial advice, but looking at altcoins, just be careful with which ones you are looking to purchase at this time. Overall, I am still of the belief that we will see more rise in altcoins because Ethereum still hasn't pushed up and taken off. And I think Ethereum is really the king of the altcoin market. So until we see Ethereum do its final blast off, I think we've still got some room left to move in the altcoins. It's just a matter of when, and by that stage, Bitcoin could really bleed out the altcoins until that next move. So we've got to wait and see what happens to Bitcoin, where this top comes in, whether it will settle down again, whether Ethereum will take off. Then we get the altcoin second run into the alt season. Speaking of buying and selling altcoins, I'm using Swyftx to put together a portfolio over here. So we've started with our demo account. So if you aren't familiar with trading or buying and selling, this is a nice, simple, easy, safe way to get familiar with a platform on how to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. So I've got a link to this in the description. Stay away from things in the comments. There is a lot of scammers down there using my face and name with WhatsApp numbers. None of that is me. Check this out. It's in the description. Swyftx. It's for Aussies only at the moment, but I do have a Binance link down there as well for the international guys. Swyftx, we're putting together a portfolio. This is Cardano, which we talked about in a previous video. So I've bought $1,000 worth of Cardano, which has risen since that video, which is great. And for this video, I'm just going to show you how to buy Bitcoin. Just going to hit trade. We're going to go across to buy. That pops up here. So we're going to purchase another $1,000 of Bitcoin for our portfolio. So we're just going to type in here, AUD, instant buy, shows us what our fees are. This is exactly how it works if you are using real money. Confirm buy, and now that adds it to our portfolio. Let's also purchase another altcoin for our portfolio. I love Band, so I'm going to be putting Band on here as well. Seen a little increase today. I'm going to throw another $1,000 at Band, instant buy, confirm buy, and that is done. You can see down here how much we've bought, how many Band we have. So let's go back to our dashboard, check out what our portfolio looks like at the moment, how much cash we got left. So we've got $1,000 in Band, $1,000 in Bitcoin, $1,000 in Cardano, but because Cardano has increased, it has increased our position on our portfolio. So we still have about $10,000 to spend. Keep track with us on this portfolio on the channel. I'll be investing that throughout further videos as I talk about individual cryptocurrencies. So if you want to see more of that, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below right here and the bell notification icon and click all. If you found some value from the video, let me know in the comments and hit that like button. Let's go for 1,000 likes on the video. Overall, great news for Bitcoin. A few things to be aware of, but it's better to be prepared than be sorry and scrambling to find answers at these critical times. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you want a link to the course as well, I've got a special 40% off, limited time only. Link is in the description for that. It's trading cryptocurrency, so go and check it out. The first live stream with the group is on tonight on Facebook, so make sure you purchase that, and I'll catch you on there later tonight. As always, until the next video, have more fun to get more done.